Hi, welcome back to Zack of All Trades. I'm Zack, and today I hope to be finishing up this shed. First things first, last night after I finished filming, I went and in a bonsai fashion, I built two more of these guys. You'll recall that I only made 5 when I needed 6 whole bows. Math was off, that sucks. Anyway, the material that I had left to do this was 1x material, which is what most of the plans that I've seen or people's write-ups on building this shed call for 1x strapping. So, whatever we're going to call that, whether it's furring or 1x4, 1x4, 1x3. So what I had, just because I had bought some extra stuff just to have extra wood for bracing or whatever, is I had enough 1x4 to do one full one, and I had enough 1x3 to do one full one. So I figured in the interest of symmetry, I would use the 1x4 on the outside, on the outer whatever, on the outside, and the 1x3 on the inside. A few things that I noticed about using this 1x material rather than just the 3/4 plywood strips like I'd used before. I only broke one of these, one of the deals as I was bending it into the jig, and that was in a place where there was a pretty severe knot and a pretty clear cut in the grain. Not really cut, but the grain kind of went really diagonal with the board, so it had no other choice really but to break right there. Beyond that, that was the only one that I broke, and it seemed to bend pretty nicely, and it seemed to go together pretty nicely. The other thing that I did notice though is it seems, and understandably so, it seems a little bit less rigid than the plywood. So when it wanted to twist a little bit more when I was putting it together, and then when I went to put it up, it felt, I don't know a better word to use than noodly. I mean, when I had it joined together at the top, the sides kind of wanted to wobble around a lot, which made it a little bit more difficult to put up. And now that I've got it put up, I see that it's twisted just a little bit. So I'm not going to worry about that too much. I had big plans of next time that I do this, going with completely with the 1x material. I don't know at this point if I'm going to do that or not. So what I'm going to do, since there's only one bow of this, I'm going to go ahead and put up my sheathing, and I'm going to start at the other end so that when I get to here, to this one, which I can tell by trying to plumb it out with a string, it's not, it's not level, it's not even. So I'm going to do all the other ones, which are good and sturdy, and then when I get to this one, I'll just kind of, move it into place and screw it down as I do so. So I'm going to start putting up the OSB, and I'm going to do it in a little bit of an unconventional way. That's what I've got. That's my scaffolding up there on the truck. Not really much of a scaffolding, but that's what I'm going to use it as. And the reason being is I know that this thing is supposed to be pretty strong, and that's the brilliance of the design and all that, but I don't know how I feel about putting up the OSB and then like climbing up on top of it, not to mention it's going to be pretty tough to climb on some parts of it. So I'm going to put up I think I can put up the first 2 layers, or the first 2 rows on the bottom before I need to do it from the truck. However, in the interest of less moves, I'm going to do as high as I can in one spot, and then move the truck forward, and then as high as I can. That way it saves me some moves. Anyway, you know what I'm saying. So here we go. Now I trust that this OSB is square. It's kind of an industry standard thing, or at least that's my understanding. So with the back bottom corner screwed in as a pivot point, I've got this guy all leveled up, and I will go ahead and shoot in a screw here to hold it in place, and then we'll base everything off of that. I'll double check it for level. Good enough for me. Why is it that whenever you have a pre-existing wound, that seems to be the place that you always whack again? I just hit it with the drill bit. Ow! I'm not sure if I mentioned, but one of my big pushes is to try to get this thing all put together, roof on, before it starts raining. So there we go. It's got a lid, and it looks like not a moment too soon. Now granted, it's not 100% complete. It's not 100% weather tight. It could use some weatherproofing on the outside, which I think I'll get some greenhouse plastic or something to protect the OSB. And also, as you can clearly see, I still haven't put a cap on it right there in the center, but that'll be fairly simple to do. So I hope you enjoyed it. As of right now, I think I'm 500 and about $5.25, maybe $530 into this project, and I think this is where I'm going to stop for right now. It will keep the snow off of my boat this winter, and it will also provide me a place to put some of my stuff that I'd like to start moving up here slowly. And well, it's our place. Now we have something on our place. I would like to eventually, hopefully sooner than later, I'd like to close in the front and the back of it and make some living space in there so that we can come up here and I don't know. I'd like to make it somewhat cabin-esque, but also with the ability to park our stuff in here. The vehicles that we leave up here, I like to be able to keep them a little bit protected from the elements. So there we go. There were some things that I think I mentioned. There were some things that probably should have been done differently. There were some things that, clearly I'm not a professional at doing this. That's part of the shtick. I'm just a regular old dude making this stuff. I wasn't quite sure how to put up the last course, I guess maybe, of the sheathing. And so I largely just screwed it in from the underside, which I know is not as good as screwing it in from the outside, but I didn't feel quite comfortable climbing up on the outside. It just didn't, I don't know, it's a pretty sturdy structure, front and back, but when you start to push on it, it'll sway a little bit, and I was a little bit worried about that. So I think what I'll probably eventually end up doing is putting some cross beams in there just to girt it up a little bit. But I've talked enough. I really hope you enjoyed this project. Please let me know what you think about it down in the comments, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I look forward to seeing you again real soon. Take care. Canada.